Welcome to Practical Cybersecurity channel, where we talk, we teach, and we train about practical, relevant, and trending cybersecurity control that an organization of any size and any type can use to secure their cyber environment. So if you have not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. And if you have any concern or query about cybersecurity in general or the video that we present, you can text us through our WhatsApp number that is you see at the bottom right of this screen. So today we are going to talk about implementation of audit log management by using Elasticstack. And if you have not seen the previous video, please go viewing them first, because every day we are building on top of what we have already covered. So for you to understand in details what we are covering here, please go and viewing the previous video. So to demonstrate this audit log management centralization, we are going to start or to build on top of the integration and policy that we have already created. So we come here to this menu, then we look for the elastic fleet, where we are going to see the agents that we have added in the last time. Here is the elastic fleet, and you will remember we created this test policy and we added two machines, one for Windows and one for Linux. So we can choose any policy here because there are two ways of viewing and analyzing logs. So this first one that I'm showing, you are focusing on specific logs, not the generic logs. If I want to use the logs whose integration I already know, I can go to specific integration, because we already say that the beauty of Elasticstack is their integration comes with pre-built-in dashboards and saved queries for your use case that are common in the given logs correction. So we go to the test policy, and you will remember whenever we create a test policy, we had this system integration built in. So today we are going to see and analyze logs that are system logs. And you remember, as I said, this system integration is contained by default whenever you create a policy. So it means that for our two machines, for Windows and for Linux, since when we created those policies and we added them to these test policies, since that time, Elasticstack has been collecting system logs about them, which consist of application log, system logs, and security logs. So we can go to this specific integration system, and there we see, as we see in the previous video, the overview of it, like what it contains and so and so. But for our case here, we are focused with the assets, because we know what logs are collected and are bundled together in system. Now we want to use built-in assets so that we can quickly view and analyze our logs. Then later on, we are going to see how can we work with all logs in general that have been collected by using Elasticstack. So here you can see the assets, and the first one are the dashboard. So because the same integration is compatible in Windows and Linux and another system, so you are going to see dashboard based on your operating system. For instance, we have dashboard for new users that is generic for system, but if you see like sudo command is only applicable on Linux server. So we have a SSH login, of course. They are also for Linux, but can also be applicable for Windows. So for demonstration, I'm going to focus on window logs, because I know most people are aware of Windows and at least their logs. If I could have demonstrated this one videos in Linux log, some window users will have been left them behind. But the vice versa is not true, because most of Linux user, we in one way or another, we have come across Windows. So I'm going to use Windows for the case of demonstration. But as you can see at your own time, you can check any dashboard and any safety query as we are going to see them. So for this case here, for instance, I'm going to see the dashboard for user logs on. This is concerned with system Windows security. Remember, we are talking about system integration that collects system logs for both Windows and Linux machine or agent that have been added to your Elasticstack. So I'm waiting for the dashboard to open. And as you can see, we have not done anything. Just by incorporating this integration, Elastic has already common dashboard for it, and later we are going to see common queries for it. So as you saw before, this is about the logs on information, the people who has logged into your given system, and their logs have been collected from wherever the machine are, and they have been centralized here. So even if you have so many agents, the same would have been applied. So you can see naturally there are just two administrator accounts and two general logs on, and other details as you can see. So the details here will depend on your actual logs. So it may differ from one student to another, depends on the particular interactive that you have done for your specific agent that you have just added. So for instance, here we can see all the logon that have been failed and the account has been logged out. And all these stuffs are there by default. We have not done anything. So you see the failed logs in, but you don't see any blocked accounts. And for security, we know this is a sensitive. If you have like a certain account has been trying to log out like maybe 7 times or 10 times, you get a notion that maybe someone is trying to brute forcing us. So I'm not going to talk more about particular details because there are so many parameters to consider. I'm showing you this so that at your time you go and perusing them, but the information is as straight as possible. And you can keep on navigating to these sub windows here. As long as you are in the particular Windows view, you can see all the subsequent information and the statistics. So for the case of dashboard, that's it. You can try to look more about the dashboard and the information that it contains. But as I said before, all these dashboard have been here by the virtue of just adding this integration. And this is the same for almost any integration that you are going to find in Elastic Stack. And if you have not known about integration, please, there is a video that we talk about Elastic Stack and integration. There we talked a lot about integration and their laws and visual. Through that videos, you can add any integration, be it for Apache, for MySQL, because we talked there like that Elastic Stack has already this integration for almost any universal application and devices. So we saw example of dashboard asset. Now let's see the example of saved searches, because we are talking about logs and these logs are stored in Elastic Schema. So we are going to use the same example that user logs on Windows System Security. But for now, we are not going to see the dashboard. We are going to see the raw logs. So that's why we have come to save the searches. So we click this menu items here, and Elastic take us straight to where all raw logs have been stored, and you can see them by default, and that is Discover. So as I said before, depending on your particular server and the interactivity, these screens may differ. So you see almost the same. We have the username, the service that has been used to log in. There is no source IP or domain IP based on transactions that have been done so far. But if someone tried to log in remote by, for instance, by using RDP, so you could have seen the source IP that particular person has been logging from. And at the left here, you see all the possible fields for particular data set, and there are so many fields in Elastic Schema. And now it is our duty, or it is your duty now, to understand all these fields means. And of course, they are that much explanatory. For instance, I can search for fields like about the host information. I just search for host. So you can see it can give you the host architecture, like maybe it's 32 bits CPU or 64-bit CPU, the host name, the host IP. So the field names are that descriptor. But of course, if you have difficult time to understand these fields, you could have gone to the integration overview, as we just come from there. At any integration and at its overview page, it tells you the details of every feed of information that is going to correct by using that given integration. But you can see here are just some few fields, and the fields that you see right now here are the one that has been pre-selected. The one here are the one that have been displaying here. So depending on your view and the logs that you are analyzing and processing, you can add or reduce the feeds that to be displayed. For instance, maybe I want to remove this Windows logo and ID. So by just clicking here, it is removed. And I can add it at any point of time, like it is here. I can just click it, add, then it comes back. Or if it's among these other available fields as you saw before, I can just search for a particular field of interest, like maybe I want also to have the host name, then I click this host name, no, the plus sign here, the host name, and you can see the host name has been added. So this view can be changed and can be added, can be customized depending on your preference and ease of use. So actually this is the discover, and actually this is where all raw logs are stored or are viewed and analyzed. But we have come to discover from the link of save these search queries. So let us use the normal ways of coming to the same view of discover, because in log analysis, this window is going to be our pattern parcels, because here is where we are going to see all logs and correlate and analyzing them. So let's come back to the home screen and seeing how can we come to the same discover screen. So you just click menu, then you go to analytics, then you go to discover. By this time now, we are going to see all raw logs here. We are not going to having the particular set. Of course, it has cached the previous query. That's why you see this Windows login, what is there. So I can just remove this one so that I see all logs without any filtering, because here is a query to filtering the logs pertaining a particular description and event code, also removing it. Yeah, now this is a normal discover screen. So by using this filter, we can use the so-called Kibana query language, which is more like SQL query, but specifically for Kibana, to filter information that you see here based on your preference. So for instance, we can say that we need logs whose host, and the good thing of it, as you keep on typing what you want, it keep you the auto completion of relevant field. So it saves you effort of recalling exact name of the fields that you want to refer. For instance, I wanted to get the host IP. So I'm trying to say that don't just show all the logs, but show me the log whose host IP is, and you can see everything is explained here. Like this sign is for equal, this sign is for less than. So you just choose the host IP is equal, and you can see automatically it tells you that if you want for a specific address, you put it in quotation. And these actually are the address that are so far within the collected logs. So you can pick for a particular address directory. But for mine, it's not displayed here. So I have to start typing it like 192. This is the one that I wanted. So this is the address, and actually it's for the same Windows machine that we saw before. So this is the first filter, that the host IP should be this, and I can add another filter. Of course, you can see just by finishing it, it gives you the logical operator that you can put and or. So everything is very, very, very user friendly by using Elastic Stack. So maybe that is the host IP I wanted, and maybe also I want to have a particular host name. So I say also the host name, this is the host name, equal to, and of course it gives me all the host names so far, and they are just two, this one. So I press enter, without all, I'm just remaining here and pressing enter. Then it displays for me the logs that meet my criteria. And I said before, the fields display here are just some of the fields. And actually, this one are based on this filtering. The actual discover was supposed to be like this one, because there we are in the subtab of the previous search the query. That's why you have seen the filtered fields based on the results of the previous search query. So actually, this is how the actual discover looks like. So we can retype our filtering. We are based on the host IP, and we say that the host IP should be equal to something like 192. This is the one that we wanted, and we added end, and we added the host name. So I'm just repeating what we already did. The host name, of course, we can say equal, and it gives you the operator based on what you have just pre-displayed. For instance, for host name, you can see greater than or equal or less than. You get equal or you get the wildcard operation. So it's just smart enough to know what are the value of the particular field. So here I click again, and then it filters based on that. So by default, it just has pre-selected field that are so limited. Like just giving the timestamp, and the whole document is here without having specific field. So if I want to see all the field in each record, I can click here, and now I can see all the field as they are here. Also, I can fill for that particular record. And as you can see, there are numbers of pages. So here I can traverse and see any information of my interest here. And also, any query that I've written and is useful for me, I can also save it so that next time I can just come to open here and see the query that I've just saved and use it. So if I've created a query for particular logs and it does what I want it to be done, next time I don't need to rewrite it. I can just save it and then retrieve it, as simple as that. And of course, any filter data here, I can share it by exporting it to CSV reports. So you can just click here and then it's going to export for you in CSV format so that you can use it in other reference, or maybe convey it to auditors or any third party people. And another things, all these logs that have been displayed here have been filtered based on this time frame. Like here, it shows the last 15 minutes. It means all the logs here are just on the last 15 minutes. So you can also have a filtering of time. For instance, you want to have Apache logs for a particular time for that particular application. You can filter it here based on last, whatever is, like you put a number, then you specify like minutes or what, and also you can change this like next minutes or what, but also you can have these common used parameters like maybe in an hour or what, and also, yeah, that's it. You can have even a particular custom time frame, like from this date to this date and this date to this time. So all these have been made possible by just using this Elastic Stack. And the good of it, all the logs that you will be collecting and centralizing using Elastic Stack, they'll be stored using the same Elastic Stack schema. So it is easier for you to cross-reference like the logs from one machine to another machine. So I think that's it for today. So for those who have been following us from beginning, up to this point, you are now be able to correct virtually any log from any device or any universal application by using Elastic Stack. So until next time, that's it for today. Thank you for being with us, and please keep on subscribing. And if you have any issue, you can check with us by using our WhatsApp number.